to make sure we weren't live.
And we are. I
Woo.
went ahead and pushed that live button. Push that live button.
I didn't need the
Because,
people getting a glimpse of my vocals for free.
well, you know, it is Sunday.
It is. It is.
It's Sunday. Get this thing going, get this thing popping. I think we should.
I think we should too.
I think we should. Let me find the right things that I need to find in here. Let them know that they can follow the Brown South Girls podcast.
Sure can. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to us on the YouTube.
All right. Hey, KJ.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You know, whenever you say, hey, KJ, I never know if I should say, hey, mommy back or hey, Miss Tanya. So I just say, hey.
Well, you know, I am your mother. But the people out here, they know me as Miss Tanya.
Well, I feel like they know you as my mama too.
They kind of do.
They should. This
They
my
kinda
mama
do.
if y'all didn't know.
Now, we already started talking. We did, but you know, we do that sometimes. But I feel
We
like
do.
there's something we need to go ahead and do before we forget to do it, because we forget to do it.
We forget every time. So let's play the intro.
Boom. You know that like when I hear it, it brings me joy because I know we get ready to get on here, and I know we're getting ready to have a conversation, and I know I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah, same. Honestly, too, I find myself randomly humming that tune throughout my day, just like dancing around. So yeah, it does bring me joy too.
Did you notice something?
I love your hat.
I'm a rhinestone cowgirl.
It's giving brown South girl, okay?
It is, and because we need to let the people know that. Listen, I was country before country was cool. Because I feel
Listen.
like that's what people get ready to do. They get ready to make it seem like it's okay to be country now. But
Right.
I always would tell them, KJ.
We been country. You know, because my mama has a poem in it, and she talks about how we been country and we fry fish with the heads on them. I bet Beyonce don't fry her fish with the heads on it. She just doesn't give that, you know. But she's still country. She's still country now. She's Southern. She's from the South.
Right.
Her roots are country.
And I tell you what, you can hear it.
You
I
can.
I hear the twang in her voice.
You can. You really can.
I always have. So you
Me
know,
too.
like whenever she speaks, you know, you hear the twang. So I got to tell you something. It's Women's History Month, right?
It is.
This is the last day of Women's History Month.
It is.
Whew. A whole lot has been going on.
It has.
Now, to take it back to that Beyonce and take it back to this cowgirl and thing that we're celebrating, cowboys and things of that nature. We got to let the people know we've been doing this.
Oh yeah.
We not new to this.
We
So I
true
want
to
everybody
this.
I want you to get your hats, you know, wear your cowboy hats, wear your cowboy boots. I feel like you shouldn't be from the South if you don't have a cowboy hat and some cowboy boots, because
You shouldn't.
I don't know anyone who doesn't.
I don't have any cowboy boots right now, but that's because the
you've
last
had
pair I had was in high school.
That's what I was about to say. You've had them before.
Yeah. And I've had, my pink cowgirl hat was probably my favorite. I wish I knew where that was. But my head is also probably not the same size.
Oh my goodness.
But,
I see we got people in here already. Who we got in here?
Yes, we got to keep the faith with Tori. Hey, Queens. Hey, Tori.
How you doing, Tori? Keep the faith with Tori. Always good to have Tori join us. Always good to talk to her too. I talk to her on Tuesdays, TO Tuesdays, Talk It Out Tuesdays at 12 noon. So make sure you catch that. It's a podcast where we talk about a whole lot of different things. Sometimes, sometimes our conversations get a little spicy.
And that's when I have to leave the comments because I'm like, ooh, my mama is on here. What are y'all talking about?
Absolutely. But just tell me something. How did your month go? How did you celebrate yourself in however way you felt like you had to? Because I feel like a lot of times people want to tell us what we should do and how we should do it as women. So if you celebrated it big, if you did something big, great. I'm fine with that. If you
Right.
did it in a small way, I'm fine with that too. What did you do?
For me, I didn't do anything extravagant, but I definitely made sure for this month in particular, not only because it was Women's History Month, but also with the spring solstice, I wanted to set some intentions. And it's crazy because I was actually talking about this with someone and how we always set our New Year's resolutions in January. And it's like, January is more like a free trial period. So I definitely use this time in March and Women's History Month with everything that's going on in the world to kind of think about, myself and my womanhood and just the places that I want to be in life and the things I want to do and accomplish and really just set some intentions to make sure that I was keeping myself on the right track. But also, I just listened to myself a lot this month. Like if I felt like I needed to rest, I took that rest. I didn't allow myself to feel bad. If I wanted to go do something, I went and did it.
Mhm.
Yesterday I didn't feel like cooking and I've been wanting to try this curry from this restaurant down the street. And I said, you know what? Treat yourself, girl. Why not? Best decision I could have made all week. It was fantastic. I cannot
Wow.
wait to get my leftovers out the fridge. Mhm.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear that. And you know, I want to just say that sounds real womanly. You know, you
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 know,
are you are my daughter,
I'm growing
and
up.
I don't see you as a child anymore. There's
Hmm.
different stages of womanhood. We're
Yeah.
girls. We go through adolescence, our
Hmm.
teens, and you become a young woman. You're a woman now. And as I was listening to you say that, I was like, oh wow.
You know, every day I
You know,
surprise myself even more.
I was like, wow, that is what we should be doing. I
Yeah.
actually I did quite a few things this
Hmm.
month actually, and something that I did that I really enjoyed. I had a little artist at residency with Coastal Carolina this month, and
Awesome.
yeah, it was a really, really, really nice experience. Got to speak with a lot of young people, help
Hmm.
inspire and empower young voices. Film fest,
Hmm.
I did that and hosted an open mic there, spoke with a couple English classes, a theater class. I also got to speak with some young people at Conway High School.
Oh,
So
awesome.
so anytime, yeah, it really was. And I forgot how much I loved engaging with young people because
Hmm.
I've been busy doing a whole lot of other things. So I hadn't been speaking with young people as much as I had done in the past.
Hmm.
I've had media classes and taught media arts, working after school programs, things of that nature. But um I didn't think or I didn't realize that I kind of missed it. But, I got a little extra dose of it and I just enjoyed the weekend. Had a nice little bread and breakfast in Conway.
Nice.
I was on a waterfront, so
Ooh,
I
fancy.
enjoyed a little time with me
Nice.
as well as I got to share with the young people.
That is awesome. And I know those young people were in for a treat. I mean, to this day, people who were in your classes when I was a kid, like we still talk about that sometimes. So it's really nice that like there's now another generation of young people like getting that same experience. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that is so interesting now is what we were doing back then with you guys. It's like social media is exactly where I was grooming you all to be,
Yeah,
and this really didn't exist at the time.
it didn't. And we just felt like we were movie stars.
Okay, it really didn't exist at the time, but just giving you the tools and knowing and allowing you to know that like you've got this technology that you can use,
Hmm.
and I want you to be able to want you to use that. And
Right.
so yeah, so that's what I did with Miss History Month.
That
And a
sounds so fun.
few other programs and things that I went to as well, but that
Hmm.
was one of the stand out events.
That
Now,
is awesome.
you know what the title of our show?
I do. I do.
Go ahead and say it.
Let me be a woman.
Mm,
Just saying. Just saying.
just let me be a woman. And we want to say that and I personally don't feel like it's controversial. How do you feel?
I don't feel like it is either. And I
Mm-hmm.
say that because I feel like there's a lot of womanhood that, we experience, but I feel like society and social media tries to like take that away or cover it up or like group us into a different, like, oh, let's put everybody over here with the women. Like, whoa, wait, can we still have our space, to express what we need to express, feel what we need to feel, share what we need to share. Just kind of being able to enjoy our womanhood and live through our womanhood without having to worry about so many other people making decisions about our womanhood. So
Right,
yeah.
right. I agree. I agree. I also I threw some some questions out there. Like I use my
Yeah.
social media to engage with people, to engage in conversation
Hmm.
because I mean, let's be honest, conversation is important. That's why we do these podcasts. That's why I do it, in fact. And but I also engage in social media without the podcast, the typical way. Okay, let's let my phone stop ringing a little bit.
I had to remember to put mine on silent because sometimes I forget.
I wish I had. I wish I had. But that's it. Okay. But what was I saying?
You were saying, now I'm not the one to ask to remember.
Now
Hold
see, you
on.
were supposed to be paying attention. So you trying to
I
tell me I
was,
was
but then
talking and
the
you wasn't
doorbell
paying attention?
distracted me. The doorbell got me. My attention span is about the size of an ant. Um, no, you were
This is
saying
not good.
we were talking about let me be a woman, and you're
Right.
saying that it's not controversial, or you
Right.
don't feel as though it's controversial. I
And
agreed.
I was talking about how I engage online and use
Yes.
my platforms. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I do that with comments. I do that through comments. I like to hear
Right.
what's on people's minds. So I'll throw a question out there, put something out there. So let me share my screen here and
Yeah.
and then you'll know what I was talking about. Okay, boom.
Woo.
So on Facebook, you see this question here. I
I
posed
do.
this to my people and my followers. I was like, what kind of woman is always single?
Woo. And I'm nosy. I read some of the comments when I saw it popped up, but I was gonna hold my comments for the show.
Mhm. What
Mm-hmm.
kind of woman is always single? Go ahead, meditate on that.
Look, while we meditate on that, I do have a
Meditate on
comment
it.
that I would like for us to read from Keep the Faith with Tori. It says, and I quote, I'm laughing because I'm watching and still forgot what you were saying. Thank you, Tori. Thank you.
Listen,
Because we can be engaged and then something just, boom, takes your attention span right on away. So thank you, Tori.
I don't think you needed any help with that, Tori. You didn't have to help her with that, but that's cool. That's cool. We gonna get back to the question because I want to ask people, and those of you who are engaged right now, we'll read some of these comments. But I
Yeah.
wanted to know what kind of woman is always single. So I asked that question, and people began to comment. And as you see, we've got a comment here. Amari Fox, he says, wise, date, but don't marry unless you're going for his assets. Don't sign a prenup. now,
Well, I never.
now, for some reason, I'm going to say that he was doing a little jokey joke. That's
Yeah. Maybe that's
don't.
a little satire.
And I
Because,
see we got
lady,
we got Tony in here. He said all types can be and are good, bad, and indifferent.
hmm,
Okay. And then we
yeah.
have Marie here. Lyric. She's a poet as
Hmm.
well, poet and artist. And I saw that she made quite a lengthy comment, and I didn't read it yet because I wanted to save it for today. So I'm going to read that now.
Okay.
Okay. It could be a number of reasons to include patient waiting patiently for a good man who is undoubtedly the right man for her. Okay. PTSD survivor. The last relationship was so traumatizing that her heart aches at the very thought of unfolding those battered and broken wings again. Wow,
Mm.
she's got some good ones here.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, selfless. maybe she has a physical or mental ailment that doesn't want to burden anyone. So she chooses to do it alone.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, she thought about
I
this a
saw a
lot. I
movie
don't.
about that one. Ooh.
Okay.
Mm.
Free spirit. She enjoys freedom to enjoy the things she loves, and she's chosen career rather than wrapping her entire being into the wants and needs of her lover and completely losing herself again.
Ooh.
Okay.
She took her time and thought about this one.
She
I
took her
appreciate this
time.
comment.
I do too. I mean, to be honest, we could kind of stop here and kind of talk about one or a couple of these before we even read some more.
Yeah.
Because she's right. And I'll start with that first one where she talked about being patient. Like
Mm-hmm.
that person who is waiting patiently for that person that they may be looking for to come along. Now, you want to speak on that first or what?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I can say I agree with her on that one. And before I say that, I think too it's important for people to understand what single looks like, because I feel like there are some people who will be single and they'll still go on dates and get to know people. So that's still single. So you can still be patiently waiting for the right person while also getting to know others. And I think that's important to mention here, because it's not like, oh, this woman is single, and then all she does is go to work and go home, but she's patiently waiting. Like maybe she'll fall in love with the DoorDasher or her Instacart shopper,
Okay, the Amazon,
right? Or the Amazon delivery person.
right.
But
But I'm glad you said that. Go ahead, continue.
oh yeah, but I was just gonna say, I think it's important to kind of just understand the different spaces you can be in your singleness when talking about
Mhm.
patience. But I feel like that's a good reason for a woman to be single. There's no reason to wrap yourself up into a relationship, like she said later in her comment, and risk losing yourself when you aren't sure about a person, just to say, oh well, I'm in a relationship, you know?
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. Uh, well, I want to piggyback off of what you said in respect to defining singleness and what that
Hmm.
means. Because first of all, number one, I think we put so much emphasis on being in a relationship, and particularly for women. I
Hmm.
find like there's a lot of pressure on women as it relates to relationships, as if, it's necessary for us to desire to want to be in a relationship or desire to be married. Perhaps, we need to be well with knowing that people can be happily single.
Right.
And when will the conversation shift, if at all? I know for me, I am going to allow it to be. And like you said, we need to define what single is. And single really is going to be about that woman who has chosen not to marry, who is not living with a partner, who does not have any children, who has never been married. And the reason why I say that, to me, that's like a true definition of singleness, is
Yeah.
because if you were married, right, and you have
Hmm.
kids, you may not be in a romantic relationship, but you are not single. There are really women out here who are single, do not live with a partner, who live on their own, who do not have children. That is singleness. And through choice, that's what they have decided to do.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
yeah, and I think another thing that's important for people to understand too, that single and alone are not the same thing. Like just because someone's single doesn't mean they're lonely.
Ooh, girl, will you
Like you,
say that one more time?
just because a woman or anyone, let's just
Mhm.
be anyone is single doesn't mean that they're lonely. Like
Right,
those don't have to coexist. You can be
right.
single and you can be lonely. You can be in a relationship and be lonely. So
I
let's
was
let's talk about it.
I was just about to say that. You
Yeah,
could be in a
so
relationship and be very alone or feel very, secluded just because you've got that ring or that paper, you know.
right.
And I just feel like this too. Why are we putting all of our eggs in that romantic relationship basket?
Right. Because
We
I
don't
feel
have to
like
do that.
We don't. And I feel like people miss out on a lot of things. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm trying so hard to put everything in this romantic relationship basket, but you could be missing out on some really great friendships that were just simply meant to be friendships.
Mhm.
That were like, these people probably were not put in your life to do anything more than just be your friend and vice versa.
Right.
But because we're so conditioned to think, oh, I have to be in a relationship and I have to get married and I have to have kids, it's like, it almost seems like it's, you try to be in a relationship with every person that you meet, and you don't have to do that.
You
You
do
don't have
not.
to. You
And
don't have to.
and I'd like to say this too, because it's like we have so many relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
that romantic relationship is just a particular relationship. What
Right.
about the fullness and the wholeness of your life? You've got your friend groups, your
Mm-hmm.
family groups.
Yep.
All of these are important relationships in your life, and not one relationship, and especially your romantic relationship. Why do you expect to get everything from that?
Right. You don't have an everything friend, so you can't expect your partner to be an everything partner. Like,
Right.
a lot
You're
of the things, yes, but everything, no.
absolutely not. That you're supposed to have other relationships and
Right.
friendships as well as your partner.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say this as a woman, and that with us saying, okay, well, let me be a woman. Stop telling me how to be. Stop trying to define my womanhood,
Mm-hmm.
because does being a mother define me as a woman?
I
Do I
don't think
have
it
to be?
does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Does being a wife define me as a woman? Am I less of a woman if I do not have a husband? Do you get to take my you know how within our culture they be like, okay, you're gonna take your black card, are you gonna take my
Right.
woman card because I don't have a husband?
But you know what? It's funny that you say that because I feel like society puts so much value on a married woman. Like, oh, she's married. She can commit to things, she's a team player. Like, being married is not going to be on my resume. So anything that you need to know that I can do doesn't have to deal with if I am married to somebody or not, because I could be married to
Absolutely.
a complete fool.
Right.
That's not going to make me more valuable. If anything, that might bring down my value because now I'm trying to cover up for both of us and doing too much. You stress yourself out. and
well
I,
well I hear what you're saying. You're like, and if someone was to think that being married means that you are able to be committed, let's talk about being a person who is committed to community, committed to your word, committed to
right.
something outside of yourself that does
Mhm.
not have to be one person.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
now I am not at all, and I never would discourage anyone from getting married.
Oh, me
And
either.
and I was married.
Hmm.
So I understand what that's like. I've been on both sides of this.
Hmm.
So I just want to say this, even when I was married, it didn't define who I was as a woman.
Right.
And there were some things about being married that I didn't like people automatically assuming, like, you know, pre-married, after you reach a certain age, you go to the family dinners and this, that, and the other, and people want to know, well, when are you getting married and things of that nature. Like,
Yep.
why are we doing this to our young women? What do you?
Exactly. Like, oh, we got a meeting here. Hey, y'all, tuning in from Maggie Valley today. Hey, and thanks for joining us.
All right, all right, all right. But listen, I'm not for it.
Me
I want
either.
to be able to. I get to define that.
Right.
I'll tell you something that's really interesting. And in fact, it happened just today. So someone came over, and they were complimenting my lawn because
Hmm.
I cut my own grass, y'all. If y'all didn't know,
And listen, that's a nice looking yard. Okay. Hmm. Ask about it.
so I had done that earlier, but by the
Hmm.
time they came over, I was in the kitchen cooking.
Oh.
And so after the compliment of the yard, I was like, "Yeah, I cut the yard earlier this morning." I said, "I just got
Hmm.
up and cut the grass, and then I wanted to get in here and get in the kitchen and get some dinner going." Guess what this man said?
Oh, Lord. I don't even want to guess. Just go ahead and tell me, because I already know it's something crazy.
It is. He's like, oh, wow. He says, so you had to be the man and the woman in this house.
First and foremost, cutting the grass does not have a gender role.
Thank you.
Let's start there. Because if I had a lawn, and a riding lawnmower, oh, I would be out there with my headphones on, living my best life. Push lawnmowers, not for me, but to each their own.
But this brings, this is what I'm getting ready to say. So he is defining my womanhood. Yeah. So he says, so you have to be the man and the woman. So am I the woman because I'm cooking?
Right.
Because I grew up in a house where men cook. My father cooked, my stepfather cooked.
Right.
Okay. Am I a man because I'm cutting grass? Women cut their yard. They maintain their yard and have gardens, and we like it. And I personally like it. So when he said that, I laughed. And I was like, well, I don't want to say that. I just feel like I just want to make sure that I get the things that I want to get done.
Right.
So this is largely what I mean when I say, allow me to be a woman. Let me be a woman.
Right.
I don't have to prove that to you by any particular duty or action that I do. Yes, exactly. I did cut my grass, and yes, now I'm in this kitchen cooking this meal. Number one,
multifaceted.
Both of these things need to be done.
Right.
Both of them.
You can't live in the jungle.
If I knew how to change my oil.
Oh, listen, if I knew how to change my oil, or if you knew how to change oil, if one of us knew how to change oil,
I would do that too.
I surely would. I surely would.
So I really don't like that. But let's go back to a few more of Marie's comments, because she has just been really thoughtful about this. She said, there could be a number of reasons. She also said you could be a PTSD survivor. The last relationship was so traumatizing that her heart aches at the very thought of unfolding these battered and broken wings again.
Right. Which that happens.
It does happen. It does. It's unfortunate. Like you, and sometimes I got to say, you might end a relationship where you really do need that break.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that you should actually have PTSD.
Ooh, because if so, that says a lot.
But however, it happens because I have gone out with some folks that I just needed to detox my entire everything from. So I completely understand that.
Yeah, it's like, actually, I just need to cleanse my life from your existence altogether.
Absolutely.
Let's not do this again. So
Let's not do it again. Also, she says selfless. Maybe this is a person who has a physical or mental ailment and she doesn't want to burden anyone, so she chooses to be alone. Now, that's something.
That's tough. That's what I was saying. I saw a movie about this. I cannot remember the name of the movie to save my life. But it was like one of those rom-coms for like young people. Well, I guess it wasn't really a rom-com drama. It was like a combination of things. But essentially the girl had a terminal illness. And she was with her family for the summers, enjoying her last days. Met this guy, he fell in love with her, but she was really giving him a hard time. Like, she wouldn't tell him she was sick, but she was giving him the hardest time. Is it A Walk to Remember? Was that movie? That movie might have a similar. That movie, I think, has a similar story, but it might not be that movie. But essentially, she ended up telling him that she was sick, and she was like, I don't want you to fall in love with me because I'm not going to be here long.
Oh, wow.
And he was basically like, I don't care. Like, we might not be able to spend forever together, but at least it'll be your forever. Oh, I was in shambles, my little teenage heart. But
that just did something to my heart.
Right. But you can kind of understand, like, with her being sick and you just understanding, like, okay, this is already going to hurt a lot of people. It's already burdened, or maybe feel like that to, family and just dealing with it. So not bringing a new person into that, you can understand why.
Okay. Definitely. She's got a few more in here. This is very thoughtful. She said that, and the question was, what type of woman would be single? we've got, you know what, I don't know if you heard the motorcycles coming through my area, but you
I
know, the
did. I
weather.
said, now I just turned my mic off because the motorcycle brigade just went by, but I still hear.
Well, guess what? The weather is warm and the bikes are out. But she
Sun
says
is
that
out, lights
people,
out.
yeah, someone could be skeptical. Maybe for years she's only seemed to attract dishonorable and untrustworthy men, and she is simply tired of the BS, so she keeps her distance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we kind of we know a lot of people who go through that. I'm gonna
Right.
say, like, one thing about that that could be quite unfortunate. Yes, it
It
can be,
can.
but always be willing to love again.
Mm-hmm. I
Always be
agree.
willing to love again. It's okay. Your broken heart will mend.
Mm-hmm.
It will. You will be okay. You know, there's certain things you know, you want to care for yourself in many
Right.
ways, yes, but you know, don't be afraid to love.
Not at
Do
all.
do not be afraid to love.
We have evangelist Denise Cooper says, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Because, like you said, like your heart will it has broken, but it'll mend. And it's, I think it's good to have discernment, but you don't have to be so skeptical that you kind of just put yourself into like going from single to lonely. So just knowing how to be a different judge of character. I won't say better because maybe the person presented themselves well and you were like, oh, okay, this is a cool person. And then their true color showed. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe just learning how to be a different judge of character and, setting some different boundaries. So you're like, okay, well, okay, I can go out on a date with this person. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. But just allowing yourself to heal and then just move on.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I want to read some more of hers here. These are so good. She says,
Yeah.
spiritual. She is waiting for God to send her or lead her to the mate designed for her rather than continually seeking the masses for someone who looks good on paper.
Mm,
Ooh,
that's a good
ooh,
one. That's a good one.
that's very good. You've got that type of she's named them all.
Right. She answered the question. She gave us all the answers, y'all.
I don't know what all the other people said, but right here, she's got it out. I didn't read this. I saved it for today. And then she has empty cup. Maybe
Yeah.
her life is consumed with caretaking of a loved one that is impossible for her to find the strength to allow someone access who will make more demands on her diminishing stamina while taking even more away from her own self-care.
Woo. Well, I never.
This woman sounds like she knows everybody.
Right. But she must have a good sister circle because
She
those were
knows
some great answers. Some great
every
answers.
woman, and just it sounds just about every
Hmm.
reason. Okay, she
Yeah.
said there are many possible backstories, and yet people, men especially, often have preconceived notions based on judgment alone,
Hmm.
without even trying to discover the backstory.
Exactly. Because you know what?
Wow.
I feel like in a lot of those scenarios that she
Mhm.
presented as well, if the man who was pursuing the woman who was in any of these scenarios just simply had a conversation with her about where her head was at, that would solve so many problems and answer so many questions. But instead, like she mentioned, they're just so quick to jump to conclusions like, oh, she's single. Oh, you too good for me.
Mhm.
Whoa, what if my cup is empty? What if I'm waiting? What if I'm skeptical? Like, you don't want to have that conversation. And who knows, that conversation could be the one conversation that gets you one step closer to knowing this woman
Mhm.
and actually maybe being able to pursue her. But no, you wanted to be all judgy. Now
Right.
I got to have an attitude. And, and now it's just not going to work out.
And most importantly, I'm always and I'm going to go back to this.
Hmm.
The relationship or a relationship, any relationship, does not define or make me a woman.
Exactly.
That's not it. Not like I'm a mother, and not even that defines me as a woman. I
Hmm.
made a decision to have children,
Right.
but I would not be any less of a woman because I have kids. I do not feel like I am any more, I'm more of a woman, more of a woman than any other woman that I see because
Right.
I have kids or because I have a husband
Mm-hmm.
or because you might be in a relationship. That is not it. And
Right.
that's what we need to, we've got to stop allowing people to put these not only gender roles, but whatever their idea of what a woman is on us. And
Yeah.
even us as women, we have our own individual definitions. We know what defines us. We have that
Right.
inside of us.
Yeah.
Okay. I see we got Evangelist Cooper here. She says, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, ma'am. I'm going to go back to this question because this question sparked quite a bit of comments. And I got a comment here from a man. We got Craig Bolt right here. He said, those by choice or those that don't have a choice. Women can be strong, independent, and still be married or in a relationship. Ladies, please stop thinking a man can't handle a relationship with those type of women. We hear it so much, I'm starting to think it's a cop-out to why you're single. Ooh, I like this.
I do too. I like the first
I like,
half.
I'm not liking this because I say I agree. I like the I like what this is sparking because he
Right.
says that women are single by choice. He said those by choice and those that don't have a choice.
Because let I don't even know where to start.
Begin.
The middle sentence, right?
Go
Middle
ahead.
sentence
Go
about
ahead.
women being strong and independent in a relationship or single or whatever. Love that part. That's great. That's fantastic. I also agree. I think a woman can be strong and independent whether or not she is married, single, in a relationship. Who knows what's going on? Mind your business, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think everyone, and especially women, since that's what we're talking about, women do have a choice on their
Right.
singleness. Always.
First of all, that is the choice.
Right. I'm either
So,
choosing to be single or choosing not to, you know? And now the last part about it being a cop out, I wouldn't say we as women use it as a cop out, but as a strong, independent Black woman who is self proclaimed hyper independent, I don't think that's a cop out. I just think there are women who have experienced a lot of men who are intimidated by their independence. And so maybe that leads to them being a little more skeptical like, okay, I've seen how men react to my independence. I've seen the signs of a man being insecure with how, headstrong or whatever I am. So when I see these things in someone else, I'm going to pay attention to that because I'm not going to waste my time or put myself in a potentially toxic situation on purpose.
mhm.
So I don't really see it as a cop out. I'm more, or at least for me, I'll speak for me. I don't see it as a cop out, but I see it more as of from experience, I'm being more skeptical with the men that I choose based off of the signs that they present, learning
Right.
about how independent and strong I am.
Okay. Well, I got you. For me in particular, I don't think that men can't handle it. I know that there are men who can
Right.
because there are.
Yes, I
They've
wholeheartedly
always
agree that
been
they
out
are.
here. They've been out here. Matter of fact, sidebar,
Mhm.
they can and they can be. That's going to
Right.
depend on the man. But my
Right.
thought about that is still that is not what defines the woman. That defines that man.
Exactly.
How he handles it, how he deals with it, how
Hmm.
he, approach it. That's his manhood. That
Right.
has nothing to do with my womanhood, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and I, like I said, and I think we already agree, he said, well, there's those women who are single by choice and those who don't have a choice. I don't feel like I don't get that. That's just kind of where we disagree a little bit because I feel like being single is that choice. I have
Right.
never really thought that it is a difficult thing to get into a relationship.
Right.
The thing is, what type of relationship do you want to be in?
Exactly.
you know. So there's that,
There
right?
is.
There is
There
that.
is.
And also, like I said, I don't think that women are using it as a crutch. I don't think it
I
is
don't
an
either.
excuse. Not at all. For me right now, and I think like we all go through ages and stages in our life.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be in a stage where I'm just not interested. And
Which
the
is
reason
fair.
why, right, and the reason why I say I'm not interested is because I'm the type of person, like when I'm into something, I want to be into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have these things going on that I really want to focus on, that I've got so much attention that I'm putting there, and I don't feel like I have the proper time to nurture a
Mm-hmm.
relationship the way that I would want to nurture it,
Right.
because I know what I want from a relationship, and the same things that I want from a relationship are those very same things that I'm willing to give. And if I don't have the quality time to put into it, then I'm not going to, like I heard you say, I don't want to waste someone else's time,
Right.
you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in a space where I'm not interested. Now, that doesn't mean that, I don't have those who are interested, that
Right.
I don't have suitors, that I don't have opportunities to go
Right.
out. I just don't want to play with anyone's emotion. I'm not going to mislead
No.
anyone to make them think that I'm open or available, because
Mm-hmm.
I happen not to be in that. I'm not in the headspace. And
Right.
it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. I know, and I think I will feel when I'm ready to do that. And it's okay. And I don't know if it's because, like, I'm an older woman now. So, I'm 50 plus. I got
Ooh.
2 5s in my age here. But
Oh Lord. Woo.
what are you saying? Oh Lord, that is just wonderful.
That is
We need to talk about
fantastic
that.
for you. We do need to talk about
Yes,
that.
we need to talk about that as women.
Mm-hmm.
Ageism with women. We try to make women think
Yes.
that because you're older that you've lost something. Let me tell you something. In my 50s, I feel so wonderful. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know who I am. I know what I want. I know, I've experienced quite a few things. I've
Yeah.
already lived over half a century here. So I think that I've learned more than a few things.
Right.
So I'm in a very good space. And I feel like as an older woman, I feel more of a woman than I ever have. Yes, there are different things that I'm going through. Women go through in terms of what the beauty standard may be.
Yes.
We associate a woman's beauty with youth.
And that irritates my entire spirit.
You are young.
I know, but the reason why that irritates my spirit, one, like I know I'm young and I appreciate all phases of my life that I've experienced so far. But I think just relating beauty to youth is just it's so strange to me because I've seen so many beautiful older women. I mean, first of all, y'all look at my mama. Let's be honest. But also I feel like it makes young girls like dread getting older because it's like, oh, once I get older, I'm not gonna be beautiful. And it's like,
Oh,
no, I'm ready to be old and foxy so people can see all the life I've lived, but I'ma still be
yes.
cute with my nice glasses and all like, and
Mhm.
yesterday, actually, maybe yesterday, no, Friday, I was at physical therapy and the assistant was working on me or whatever. And she was like, oh, so are you from here? And I was like, well, no, I'm not. And she was like, oh, so are you in school? And that question is probably the question I hate getting the most. One, because there are people who can be non traditional college age students. But I know that they're asking me that question because I look young.
Right.
And it's like you wouldn't ask an older woman if she's in a specific city. You wouldn't go, oh, so are you here because you're in school? But what if she is? What if she decided she finally wanted to go back and pursue her degree, or she wanted to get another degree or a certificate or something? And it's like we always look at you, it's like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so young. Why can't we just age nicely? And because that shows that you've lived life,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
know?
I just feel I feel I feel great. Like I've
And that's
never
good.
felt this great before.
Hmm.
can't say that I even imagined that I would be or that I
Mm-hmm.
would in my 50s, but I do. Like, this is the best time that I've had in my life. And I look forward to getting older. And I feel
Right.
like as a woman, you know, we do things, or at least I personally, I try to do things to uh, take care of myself
Mm-hmm.
physically, mentally, so that as I age, I am able to, you know, I don't just want to be older. I want to be mobile. I want to be, you know,
Right.
cognitive. I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to, like how I say, I like getting out in my yard and doing different
Mm-hmm.
things. I like to cook. You know, there's
Right.
several different things I like. I like doing this. Even though I'm older, a lot of people who are in my generation, believe it or not, they're not even really into technology very much. But
Mm-hmm.
I very much am. I don't see that changing. I always, you know, I like new gadgets and new
Right.
technology. I like being curious. I like reading about new things. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I do all of the things, not necessarily to stay young, but just to keep my mind sparked,
Right.
you know, to feel life, to enjoy life, the things that are going on, you know, around me, to be a part of that. But to be older as all of these things are going on, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I
Right.
really love it.
Right. And I love watching you get older. Just having conversations with older women. I talked to this little old lady at Publix in the elevator yesterday. She was so cute. And her glasses, she that was a cute old lady. But it's just nice to hear about people's life experiences and the things that they used to enjoy and love to do, and then the things that they like to do now. Because I feel like as a young person, it gives me something to look forward to. Like
Hmm.
I cannot wait for the day where I can be a little old lady. I can do whatever I want. Nobody's gonna say anything to me because I'm a little old lady. I can wear my full, velour sweat, not velour, my track suits to the
Right.
airport when I'm at. Like, I'm just so ready to do all the cute old lady stuff. I mean,
So am
life
I.
take your time, but I'm
Yeah.
ready to do all the cute old lady stuff. And you know, I think we should embrace getting
Embrace and
older and
celebrate
embrace
it.
the beauty in getting older. I think we need to
Yes.
focus on the beauty of getting older versus the beauty of being youthful.
Right. There's not,
Yeah.
I mean, celebrate that. I feel
Right.
like you should definitely enjoy every stage of your life.
Hmm.
You should. You know, when you're young and you've got all of that youth, enjoy that. That's why I
Hmm.
feel like young people need to take advantage of you know, that youth threshold, and, like, you know, really power through making sure that you're strong.
Yes.
That
And take care of your knees.
Yeah, well, yeah, take
Take
care of your
care of your
body.
knees.
Take care of your body, because when you start getting older, that's going to be very important. And you
It
still have to
is.
continue to do that. But
Hmm.
if you had some type of regimen in your youth, then, you know, it's just going to help you out as you're
Right.
older. I
Yeah,
see we got
I
Tori
agree.
in the comments there.
Yes, keep the faith, as Tori says, loving this conversation. Thanks so much.
Oh,
This was a
no.
really great topic, especially to end off Women's History Month.
I agree.
We have
All right.
Evangelist Cooper again. It says, I was Data Woman CEO and 62 now ready.
Oh, okay. Listen, I feel what you are saying, because listen, let me tell you something. I told someone, I said, come back and talk to me when I'm 60. I did,
That's
because
funny.
I feel like right now, I
Hmm.
like you know, I'm a planner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I have goals.
Hmm.
I still have goals. I've always had them. I like to set my goals. I like to write them down. I like to see that I have accomplished something. And I
Right.
know what I want to do within this next span of my life right now. And
Hmm.
relationship is not in that plan. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean I'm not the type of person that say, if perhaps someone could influence me, or I'm not going to say it can't happen.
Right.
So let me just say that. What
Hmm.
I am saying is, it's not a goal. I don't
Right.
feel like less of a woman by not having a romantic relationship. I don't feel like it's something that I want to prioritize. And the reason why I said I don't want to prioritize is because I know what I have listed as my goals.
Right.
And I don't want to half-ass anything. And that
Yeah.
includes the attention that I would like to give to a romantic partner. So I don't have that mind space right now. So I was like, catch me when I'm 60.
Right. Well, give me a little bit of time.
Yeah, give me some time. I've got some things I want to get done, some things I want to accomplish. And, so I'm with you, ma'am. I'm with you. So
I get it.
do your thing. Do your thing. What'd she say here?
She said, I am retired and ready for the right man.
Come on now.
Well, listen, I'm ready to retire.
Listen,
I got a lot of time. Got a lot of time.
You got a whole lot of time.
But that is another thing that I'm looking forward to in the beauty of getting older, retirement.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. If we go back to Craig's comment, and we talked about it. He said, there are those women who are single by choice, those who don't have a choice. I do not believe or agree with the don't have a choice. He says, ladies, please stop thinking a man can't handle a relationship with those type of women. I do appreciate, now I will say that I appreciate him saying that because I happen to agree with him on that. Yes, there are men who can handle that. And that is on them. That has nothing to do with your womanhood, ladies. That has everything to do with him. Do you want to see if we could change the subject and go to something else? I did have another question.
You did have another question that had some real interesting comments. I think we could talk about it. We can go ahead.
You want to let's go to that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yes.
The question that I asked was, what kind of woman will definitely get married?
Now, is definitely the key word in this post, or is married the key word?
Now, I'm going to let whoever interpret it the way they interpret it, because I don't
my
know.
answer would be the one who wants to.
Okay. Did we get some people? I think let's see what the people had to say.
I feel like we got some comments. I was, again, when I was being nosy, I was just reading comments. I can't remember which question I was reading the comments to.
But we gonna get into them.
But I think this one has some good ones too.
Let me get to it, and let's scroll through and see what's going on with the people. Okay, what kind of woman will definitely get married? Okay, I see Evangelist Cooper was in on this comment. She said Proverbs 31 woman. Now, I hadn't read that part of the Bible that I remember. I don't remember it quite like that. So if you want to get in here and tell us what that is, you can. Okay, I see we got Kay Brockington here. She said, a woman who found a real family man.
Okay.
That's what she says. And my thing is this, because even if you get married, because there are couples who don't have kids, right? So is that 100% accurate? I don't know. I guess that would be, this is definitely going to be on an individual basis.
Right.
So if that's what you want, but what if this woman doesn't want to have kids? Because being a mother is not defining, that's not who she is as a woman. When she becomes a mother, then she'll be a mother if that's what she chooses.
Right.
Okay. I see we got Joseph in here. He said the women overseas in Africa, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, Thailand, and more. He said American women are done.
Well,
Speak on that. So how he gonna play American women? What is he saying?
Because my question would be, are you married? And if so, to a woman from where? And if you are unmarried, what makes you believe that American women are done? I feel like there's a lot of conversations, maybe a little bit of healing that needs to be had.
Oh my God. I hear a little bit healing in there.
Yeah, I think somebody broke his heart.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or he just thinks that all women are brokenhearted. I don't know.
Right, but only the American ones now.
Only the Americans.
Only the
I
American
see. Keep the faith
they,
with Tori. She said, "What Joseph talking about?"
girl,
Child.
we don't know.
Hmm.
We don't know. Evangelist Cooper said, "OMG." I, I said the same thing.
I don't know.
Then we have Lamar Hammond says Joseph ain't went none of them places. LOL to know. Now wait a minute. Joseph might have a few stamps in his passport. We don't know that.
Hmm.
But did he marry any of them?
Maybe that's up for debate. I asked him to
That
come on
is.
and join us in the meeting here in the conversation, but he said
Mhm.
he had a town hall, so he'll have to catch the replay.
Oh, okay. That's
Um,
fine, Joseph. We'll talk to you another day.
Now, David, his
Oh,
comment kind of we're gonna have to talk about David comment here. David said, "Respectful woman."
wait. Can we put David on the screen? We can put this on the screen.
Let me put that up
I
because
just want to see it.
child, look what
Hmm.
David said. David said, "Respectful woman."
I mean,
So you trying to say single women disrespectful?
right. Because listen, I have seen some disrespectful women with rings on their hands, but that's another story for another day. Um. So yeah, what does that mean? You can be a respectful, unmarried woman. I don't think that has anything to do with your own respect or your own self-respect, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Keep the faith until it says, well, Joseph, we will just talk about you, LMBO. Right. We won't talk with you. We'll just talk about you briefly. Briefly.
Child. Hmm. I don't
Wait.
know. I don't know. Let me get back in these comments and see. Because listen, David threw me off with the respectful woman. Okay.
Joseph still threw me off telling me American women were done. First
He
of all,
did.
sir.
He did. But this can be a matter of interpretation because I'm not sure if he's saying that um, American women are done as it relates to men feeling that they're done, or if he's saying that the women
Are
themselves are
fed
just
up.
done. Right. So that is going to be a matter of interpretation.
That is true.
Right. So,
That is true.
and I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards that one. Right. But I see we got Kawana James in here. She said, any woman can get married and any woman can get divorced. There are no hard, fast rules. It doesn't matter how smart or beautiful you are. Thanks.
That I can agree with.
I agree with her
That I
wholeheartedly.
can agree with. You know,
Really do.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, we got Reggie Scales in here. How you doing, Reggie? All the way in ATL. He said the right one for the right man. Mostly one that has grown up with a good dad. Now,
Okay.
he's not wrong.
Right.
He's not wrong. In fact, he has a very
That's a very good
valid
point.
point. He really does. Is there anyone out here who would like to speak on that in the comments? What is your thought on what he
Right.
said?
I like what he said. I feel like I would have, instead of saying a good dad, maybe a good father figure, because maybe
Mm-hmm.
there are women out here who don't have a father in their life for whatever reason, whatever circumstances, but they still had men in their life who were a good positive influence. So they
Mm-hmm.
were able to see a man and let that help them kind of navigate their own personal relationships. So I don't think you had to have necessarily good biological dad, but just some type of figure in your life. So
Right.
I can agree with what he said though.
I do. Because you have to, it's important to see some of these things modeled. So
Right.
as you're growing up, I mean, if you haven't seen that, if you've
You
never
don't know what
seen
to
a
expect.
man love your mother,
Hmm.
you don't know what that looks like. If you've never seen your mother love your father or love a man in your household, you don't know what that looks like. You don't know what what is required in that, you know?
Hmm. I agree.
So he has a very valid point.
Hmm.
All right,
Okay,
let's
Reggie, you're redeeming it for the men.
all right, we got John Hicks. He said, I'm not sure if she gets married more than is if she can stay married.
It takes two to tango. They would have to stay married to each other. To each other.
Did you see I had to sit back on that? Let me sit back and sip some water on that. I might have to read that again after I drink a little bit. Can you see that?
What?
Can you see that?
I can. I
Read
want
it
not to.
Read it for me.
It says, in the words of Mr. John Hicks, I'm not sure if she gets married more than if she can stay married. Now, I will say, even though I've never been married, I do feel like it takes work to stay married. Like
Absolutely.
that's not an easy thing to do even under the best circumstances. So that I can understand. But my interpretation of this comment is more emphasis is on if the woman can stay married. Not if the couple can stay married to each other.
The couple can stay together, right? As if it's a marriage is a coupled thing.
Right. We are a couple, a partnership, if you will.
Right.
And so it's up to us to determine if we want to stay married to each other and how we make that work. And if for some reason one person feels like, okay, that this marriage is not working out and the conversations are had and it ends in divorce, then that's what happens. But to say if she can stay married, it's like she can, but are we choosing to is really the question.
And the thing is this, you have to agree to get divorced.
Right.
Because you have
once you get married, you can stay married.
Right.
And you get divorced.
You know how many broken marriages out here that just need to go ahead and finalize that divorce?
Look, we're just separated. Okay.
Right. I know people who are just separated. I know people who have not finalized. I hate to say this, but I know I'm not the only one who know. But there's people out here who can't even afford to get divorced.
Which is insane. And not insane as in they can't afford it, but insane is that is something you have to be able to afford. Like I'm in this situation that I can't get out of.
It's not even funny. I don't even know why I'm laughing, but there are some people right now who wish they could finalize their divorce.
Right, please. I hope anybody out there who want to finalize, I hope y'all win the lottery or something so you can get yourself out of there and go live your best married life.
What you say? Get you a
your best
off.
Single life, and you go be a good woman.
Listen, it's some people out here who are married legally by paper, and they still out here living their best single life.
You're right. You're right about it.
So let's be clear about that. But what John says here is very interesting. We live in this male-dominated, patriotic United States of America world.
Yeah.
So his comment does not catch me by surprise, He says it's more if she can stay married. But you have to agree to get divorced. Ain't that something?
Right.
You got to agree to break up. Both of your signatures are needed in this paperwork.
To do that.
Okay. I see we got Sharonda here. She said, not so smart ones.
Ooh.
Girl.
Well.
Sometimes. Do we need to speak for Sharonda? Are you in the building?
I think that's self-explanatory. Sometimes marriage, I'm not going to say it's self-explanatory, but I can say marriage is not for everyone.
It certainly isn't.
And it's okay to realize that, whether you realize that before you get married, whether you realize that after you get married, whether you realize that after you have been divorced. It's okay to realize that marriage is not for everybody.
Let me tell you something. Even after you get divorced, there's a whole lot that you learn about your partner, the person you were married to, like when you can just kind of think back. And to tell you the truth, I don't know how many people might agree with this, but even sometimes if you've been in a relationship and you break up with that person, and then there's things that you learn about that person after you broke up, it's like you realize certain things or people tell you certain things like, okay, well, why you didn't tell me this before? Why are you telling me this now?
Exactly.
Why is this information available to me now?
Me out here looking foolish and you just knew this information and waited?
Child, it's a plenty of things I didn't find out until after the ink was dried on my divorce decree.
It is interesting how much you learn about people when they are no longer in your life.
That is exactly what
And
I'm
it's
saying.
like, wow. And I don't know if that's just the universe's way of saying, listen, you gonna be all right. This was a good decision.
Yes.
Like to help you get over your hurt. Well, woo, child.
Child. Woo-saw, woo-saw. Well, you know
Like,
what?
woo.
We talked about this thing. We talked about you know, we asked what type of woman would be single, what type of woman would be married. We tried to figure out like why we are allowing a romantic relationship to define us as a woman.
Mm-hmm. It
We
ain't cutting
can't
the
let
grass.
right. We can't let motherhood define us alone as being a woman, because there are going to be
Exactly.
women who make decisions not to be mothers, and that is okay. So do that, women, if that's not what you want. That's not what you want, lady, and you are still a woman.
Right. As Lady, she would say, I'm a woman.
Yes.
I don't want to hit that note like she did.
And I can't hit the note like Whitney Houston, but I'm every woman. So
It's all in me.
if I want to cut my grass, change a tire, get in the kitchen, work a 9 to 5, whatever it is I want to do.
Whatever.
I can do that. If I want to wear my hair long, if I want to wear my head bald, which is another thing, because I happen to be bald, I am not my hair. Who said that?
India Ari.
India Ari. So there's so many things that, society wants to put on us and make us feel like that is the box that we have to fit in. And so as we come to a close on not just this podcast, but to Women's History Month, because there's so many, excuse me, there's so many amazing women out here. And you, not just you, we have been remembering them, talking about them. So we didn't want to make this podcast just talking about specific women. We just wanted to talk about a woman. What is it like to be a woman? Who are you as a woman? Don't let anyone tell you what you have to do by any duty, by any relationship, by being any type of caregiver or occupation or relationship.
Yeah.
That doesn't define it. You define it. Is there any last thing you'd like to say?
Yes, I'm glad you brought up the India Ari song, because she really does say a lot of great things in there, and I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. But that's also just a shameless thing. Great song to put on your I Am That Girl playlist whenever you just need a pick me up. But a specific line that stood out to me for the purpose of this conversation is, I am not your expectation.
Ooh.
And I say that to say our womanhood lies in nobody's hands but our own. Well, maybe not quite, maybe not as literally as we want it to be, but essentially, our womanhood lies in no one's hands but our own. So your womanhood does not have to live up to, or and is not defined by anyone else's expectations except for yours, no matter what stage of life you're in. And so that's what I got.
That's it. And I don't want to put anything else on there. We got one last comment that we can read. Go ahead and do that.
Yes, Keep the Faith with Tori says, I really enjoyed today's podcast. You both are two phenomenal women that represent Women's History Month well. Thank you so much, Tori, and so are you. And we have Pamela Mitchell here that says, teach. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And Keep the Faith with Tori here says, ooh, that is so good. I am not your expectation.
All right. All right, girl. We're going to get on out of here. We enjoyed you. You know, we always enjoyed you. Yeah. I always enjoy talking to you. You know that.
Same. I always do.
And even though having you as a daughter and being your mother doesn't define me as a woman, I am certainly happy to know you as a woman and to be a part of your life. And I love you.
And you are one of my favorite women on the planet. Let's just start there.
All right.
But no, I love you too.
All right, y'all. Y'all be good out here. We'll be back same time.
Yeah.
Last Sunday. When is the last Sunday? What's that date?
You know, you would think by now I'd be prepared for these things.
No, I didn't think that.
The people would think by now I would be prepared for these things. But the next last Sunday is going to be April the 28th. We will see you back here live.
All right, y'all. Y'all be good out here. One love.